Hello, everyone, and welcome to Badass Us. Yes, that's right. That's who we are. Badass Us, real talk here on Vision and Purpose Media Production. And tonight we have such a great topic for you. It's business and entrepreneurship. Setting your financial goals. Do you know what they are? Especially in the black community. That's who we are. Badass Us. Yes, Badass Us. Women. We are beautiful, accomplished, and determined. Our gentlemen, our brothers, accomplished and divine. And as society see us, we must still change the narrative. That's right. That's who we are. Badass Us. Badass Us. Real talk here on Vision and Purpose Media Productions.
Badass us. Yeah, that's right. That's who we are. Badass us. What? Who are we? We are women. Beautiful, accomplished, and divine. That's right. Badass us. Yeah. Who are we? We are gentlemen. Are our brothers accomplished and determined? Yet, as society see us, we must still change the narrative. Yeah, that's right. Who are we? The black community. Remember us? We are accomplished. We are determined. We are divine. We are of greatness. That's right. The black community. Badass us. Who are we? That's right. Who am I? I am the person committed to building the next community movement. What about you?
Yes, welcome back to Badass Us. Yes, that's right. That's who we are. Badass Us, real talk here on Vision and Purpose Media Production. Guys, I'm sitting here laughing. I have to Marjorie and Barbara. I'm gonna bring you on in, but we love commercials and we love live
Yes.
because live is live. And I was laughing because okay, do over. I have to come back and say, women are beautiful, accomplished, and divine. Our brothers are accomplished and determined. Yet, as society see us, we must still change the narrative. So that's why we're laughing because it kind of went in reverse tonight. But hey, I went with it.
That's right.
Yes,
You
you
sure
did.
did. You sure
And
did.
I'm here laughing so hard because I cracked my own self up, and it's good when you can laugh at your,
At your
own,
own
yeah,
self.
yeah,
That's
at
right.
your own self. So, ladies, thanks for laughing with me on that commercial break. It was really good. But at the end of the day, we are talking about being determined to change the narrative in the black community.
Right.
And we want to be close, personal, and intentional with our message here on Badass Us. And tonight is it's all about the business of entrepreneurship and setting them financial goals. And I want to introduce my co-hosts tonight, and we have Marjorie Militant.
Hello.
Yay!
Hello.
And we have Barbara Grant Proctor. Yes,
Hello, everyone.
yes. And I am just happy to be having this discussion, because this is discussion that we need to have in the black community, in the households, and what we do. So setting your financial goals in a black household, what do that really look like? So I know for me, my mom I'm from the South. Every chance I get a chance to say that, I'm just a Southern belle to my heart. And I just always know that our parents believe in sitting down, having that talk with us. They worked hard for everything that they had, not being in debt, and worked hard to pay things off. And then back in that day, that's what they did. And they continue to buy more land, work hard, pay that off. then and buy more land, work hard and pay that off. But some kind of way, we kind of get in this modernized world a little bit because each generation we have more and more access to us.
Right.
But statistics show we have more access to us, but we more in debt than we were back then. And as we got a financial person sitting up here with us, I know you have more than a mouthful to say about that.
More than
Yes,
mouthful.
yes,
Yes,
because
yes.
statistics just shows us that. So how can that possibly be? They had less, but owned and earned more,
Right.
and we have supposed to have more to our disposal, but but we more in debt. So let's be real about the situation. So what is it looking like in our household now, and what do we need to do to change that narrative? So Barbara, I just want to hear a few words from you first.
Well, the main thing I want to say is education. That is the number one priority, is financial education. I don't know if everyone knows, but in our school systems, financial literacy is not on the curriculum. In the past 4 or 5 years, they just started in some areas, not all schools, not all school systems. They started putting financial literacy into the school systems. So education is very important. And then when you have the different generations come up, like when we talk about our mothers, right, our fathers, we knew how they were. And then as the generations change, the economy changes, correct?
Yeah.
So therefore, the education in the household is not the same. The teachings are not the same. And if your parents don't understand financial education, how do you expect the children
Yes.
to understand financial education?
And that is so true, because I can just remember early on, my mom making me sit down and write checks. And to me, at first, I was like, why I gotta make out her bills?
Right? Absolutely.
But little did I know, she was teaching me
Laying that
then
foundation.
about finance and balancing. It's
Absolutely.
responsibility.
Right.
Bills are here. You have this amount of money. What do you do? How do you write this out? How do you pay it? And so, and you're right. I think we are starting to get away from that. But I tell you, we need to get back to that, and some still do, because I was impressed. This was a month ago. I saw this black woman in a black bank, industrial bank. I'm giving shout out. Hi, industrial.
Black owned.
Yeah, black owned bank. Black woman, black owned bank with 2 black sons. And I asked her at the end, and I kind of guessed right. I knew they looked to be about 13, 14 years
Okay,
old.
okay.
So one was 13, the other one was 15 years old. And she had them making out the slip and depositing
Showing them how to
money.
do
Good for
it.
her. That's great.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this. I said, oh, this is a beautiful thing to see. She said, oh no, this goes on every time they get their earnings from what they work
teaches-
around the house. And that was the
Absolutely.
same thing.
Right.
We had chores, we
Yeah,
get a little
yeah.
allowance, and had to take half of it and put it away, and then the other half you had to spend wisely.
Yes.
Right.
So what about you, Marjorie? Do you remember these days? Can you relate to this?
I do remember those things, but in my family, because we were so different, the 5 of us, I was the one who was, social work minded like my dad. So I always wanted to help people. And I didn't really focus on the money part. So as I grew older, that did affect me. And, because I didn't know how to do that. I have a sister who really thought that was important, and she's always thought it was important. So some things I was playing catch up with. So I think it depends on what kind of person you are and how much your parents expect you to do that.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. Now, my children, because I had a harder time bringing them up financially, they are really in tune to it. They know how to do it, whether it's better to lease a car or buy a car. They both bought houses, so they're doing well because they took that to heart and thought it was important.
That's
Oh,
good.
definitely.
That's good.
Yeah. So, and then, so with that, what is the first step to building financial credit? So what is that first step? And I think, like I was saying then, having that child to be responsible at a young age is the first step. Just letting them know when you earn money, you have to put some away.
Right.
You have to budget. And I just think these are the first steps. And if we got, like you said, during a different generation, we kind of got away from that, then how do we get back to that? Because that's important, because these are seeds that we need
We're
to plant
planting.
early on to have them to be in them. And then guess what, when it's in you, you're gonna do what? Pass it on.
Pass it on.
You're gonna
Absolutely.
pass it on. So so for me, I guess the first step in building that financial credit is to start early on, having the children to know what responsibility of money is,
Right.
what the value of a dollar
Right.
is, so, and I think that's part of the first steps.
Yes. Absolutely, because financial awareness, what you're saying, knowing what credit is, knowing what the dollar is, that is the first step of financial literacy, is to understand. Most of the times people don't understand interest rates. That's value of the dollar, right? So if they go somewhere and they get an interest rate that's high, they don't know whether it's high or not. They just know that they got a car or a card or whatever they receive that they can spend, and hopefully they can pay the monthly payments. But if you have financial awareness, like you're saying, they know what interest rates look like, what a card should be, and what they should, when they go to purchase a car, what type of interest rate that they should accept. Because
Yes.
credit cards, car dealerships, trust me, they know when you do not have financial awareness.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
When you
'cause-
sit in a car dealership,
yes, that
you
is
go
so
to the
true.
finance department. That's totally different from the sale of the car.
That
When
is
you
so
sit in
true.
there with that finance department and they're questioning you and you're aware, if you understand what your credit score is and what your power is,
Right.
you can tell them what you're looking for, because number one, you've already investigated it.
Right. Right.
You know what your worth is.
Exactly.
And when you know that and you show that, they're not going to play around with you.
Yeah.
But if they
Yes.
have an ideal that you,
you
don't
know,
understand,
that's when the haggling start. Yeah. And you got to be willing to walk away.
you got to be willing to walk away.
Yeah,
I don't know how many times I walked away at car dealerships. Just walk away. Keep walking. They chase you out the door. You just walk away.
But I guess what I hear you saying is that knowing when to walk away is important. But there's so many people who don't know
Absolutely.
about it, that they're just excited because someone has said you can
Absolutely.
get the car.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. And then we end up signing our name on the dotted line. But that's true too. And I guess my thing was, I learned in quick. My mom, she didn't play. I learned quick about all these pre-approved credit cards coming to me. Oh yeah, that's the setup.
It is.
Certainly is.
It's a setup.
It can be.
To the point of new people like me. I was young and had the great interest, the credit score, and so I'm getting all these pre-approved credit cards, but I ain't reading that fine print. Like you
fine
said,
print.
how high the interest rate is. So I'm paying interest and interest and interest and never paying back
Right. Right.
to the principal of what I owe. And when my mom saw it, she said, God, this credit card, you don't sign your name on here to what? 13 and a half. No, you paying this credit card off, and I mean couldn't, so, and but you do, you thinking you doing something good, because you do need credit cards and credit to continue your good credit, but you gotta read that fine print.
Always.
13.5% is high.
Right.
And
What people miss is the ending of an introductory rate.
No, you ain't getting away with that.
Oh,
You're not getting away with that. Oh no, back that up, my sister.
The introductory rate. Oh, please transfer everything over here, 0% financing. You have to understand and read the fine print that when that introductory of 6 months or 1 year is over, what is your interest rate going to?
Right.
And that's what people don't really read. They read,
Right.
oh, I'm going to transfer this over. I'm going to get 0% interest. But if you don't know what that interest rate's going to be after that introductory rate, that month will come and hit you, and then guess what? All that interest, boom, with that card. So people have to really pay attention to what it is that they're signing their name on.
Yes.
That's true. And I guess going back to what you said, It's when you get ready to graduate from high school and you're going to college. That's the time when it happened
That's
to
when
me. The only time, just like you said, when you are 18 or 19,
Yes.
they're coming after you big time.
Yes.
Oh yes, they
Yes.
gonna throw credit all kinds
Yes.
of ways at you, and you be just I'm good
Yeah.
like that. You start thinking you good like that,
Absolutely,
and not
absolutely.
even knowing that it can be a setup and a challenge. Because we was even talking about that. I remember even working at the department store, and you know how the department store give you your credit card.
Yes.
You have to, that's the only way you can get your discount
By using
the
their credit
department.
card.
And
Yes.
I realized, I said, wait a minute, I'm into this. I said, I'm working for them. I'm up here thinking I'm getting all this percentage off and all this stuff. And
And
then
they
I
hit
got
you in the interest.
Yes, and so my discount ended up going into the interest of the credit card. And then
Right.
I'm like, you know what? You got me. But I learned real quick, though,
Yes.
because
That's right.
like you said, when the seeds are planted,
Yes.
you learn real quick. And then it got to the point, my mom taught me of when you pay yourself first.
Right.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Right.
Do you know about that? And you have to know that. You have to continue to pay yourself first.
Yes.
And so what do we mean by that? Just in case there's somebody out there that don't
doesn't know.
know what we mean when you say pay yourself first.
Well, it actually could be a couple of things.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it could be that when you get paid, you take a little bit of money, you put it away in a savings. Or you could take it and you could put it into an IRA. You could put it into a mutual fund. You could do any of those things. And you can go to a bank and you can do that. The second thing.
So you sure pay yourself first don't mean I'm supposed to just take my money and go shopping.
No. No.
That's
That's
right.
called cash overflow.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
Cash overflow. You checked off everything. Everything is paid. Paid myself. Paid my bills. I got a little extra spending
Right.
money.
Right.
Cash overflow.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
Another way to pay yourself is, of course, if you're working for a company and they have a 401k plan, right? You want to make sure, normally the highest they allowed you to put in, most companies 6%. It's a little bit lower now with everything that's going on, but a lot of people use the highest percentage that a company will allow you. And a lot of companies, they match that percentage, a certain amount. So they'll match that. And that's for your retirement fund. And that's for even later on down the line if there's emergencies, because with that you can take loans out, to help yourself later on, and you paying yourself back. So you're paying yourself first again by paying yourself back. So a lot of times it's best to go ahead and take the company percentages for the 401k and let them do that and save that money for your retirement.
Yes, yeah. And that's what we mean by pay yourself first. And basically all these things that she mentioned, how you pay yourself first, is basically saying saving, and looking for setting yourself up for it. Because we always heard that rainy day, when that rainy day come, because it's gonna come.
Yes.
Oh, and they come more than one time
That's
in
true.
your
Yes, they do.
lifetime too. So
Things break.
yeah. So knowing that rainy day, so just knowing when that rainy day is always nice when you know that you paid yourself first and you have a cushion, and that you constantly adding on to that cushion. So, so yes, paying yourself first is definitely a way that was taught, that this is for your rainy days. This is for your future. This is, building towards your purpose,
And you can do all of the above.
yes.
Yeah.
You can have a rainy day fund.
Right.
Yeah.
You can be paying yourself in your 401k.
Yes.
You can have a savings over here, your own mutual
Yes.
fund. You can do
Yes.
all of the above.
Yes, and then and definitely just talking on it for a minute about being an entrepreneur, because see, when you work for yourself,
Right.
you don't have an employer that's paying your KO.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay,
Right.
Discipline.
Yes. So then that's a whole nother level of making sure that you're paying yourself first and putting away
Absolutely.
investment. Hey, and I'm speaking from experience here, being in this entrepreneur world ever since I was 29 years old.
Yes.
So, Lord, when we say we want our own business, you got to know what that comes
You
with.
gotta know what it
Right.
comes with.
Got to
Absolutely.
know where it comes with, because
Absolutely.
I can hear my little sassy mouth way back then say, I'm gonna own my own business one day. I ain't working for nobody. Honey, let me tell you, when you own your own business, you working for somebody every day.
Every day.
That's true.
Every day. You're just not getting a salary for it anymore. But you're working for somebody every day. So
Absolutely.
I'm gonna say that on
Absolutely.
the record right
Absolutely.
now. Because that's what
Absolutely.
working for yourself
Right.
is. It means you have to be available at their disposal, at your client
Yes.
disposal at all times,
Mm-hmm.
giving the best customer service,
Absolutely.
you know, and the rewards is gonna sometimes you're gonna put out more than the rewards gonna give you back. But you gotta know that's part of the process
Right.
when being a business and entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
Okay, so yeah.
In
Absolutely.
service of others.
And
Yes.
I like that, in service of
Yes,
others.
yes.
And, you know, and then this is leading us, you know, we're going to take these last, you know, few seconds and talk about where should that credit score be professionally and personally, because in the next segment we want to talk more about, you know, having that credit score and your power to purchase, but you cannot purchase anything if we don't do all these steps
If you don't do all those
that
steps.
we just talked about.
Right.
So that's important, is knowing where your personal and your professional score need to be, because you know that is everything. You know, because I liken the fact now that this generation, I will say, are thinking more about not leasing but buying. When they start their own business. They don't want to lease a space, they want to buy the building. You know, I'm like, oh,
Millennials.
Yeah.
Yeah,
millennials,
yeah,
they're something
yeah.
else.
They're serious.
Yeah.
They're something else.
and they doing it though.
They are.
They are doing it. So I am proud of that they know the power of purchasing.
Yes.
Right.
And I know you love that conversation. So
My favorite
Yeah,
conversation.
your favorite conversation.
My favorite
Marjorie,
conversation.
that's her favorite
Oh,
conversation.
is that your favorite
That's my
conversation?
favorite
Her
conversation.
favorite conversation. So guys, I'll tell you, this is just wonderful when we can sit here and talk about the power of what it takes for us in the Black community. So
Yes.
yeah, so
Much
I-
needed.
much needed,
Absolutely.
much needed. The power to purchase and knowing your credit score. We've been talking about, you know, business and finance and setting your financial goals. Just knowing how that looks like in a Black household. You know, what is the first step to financial credit? Knowing your credit score professionally and personally. So you heard it here first. We're talking about business and entrepreneurship, financial setting your goals. We will be right back. You heard it here first on Vision and Purpose Media Production. This is B.A.A.D.A.S.S Us. We be right back at you.
Hello, my name is Tania McQueen. I'm the Residential Services Manager for Prestige Community Resources.
What our new facilities are respite centers. We're opening 2 in the city right now. Hopefully we'll expand to more. But respite centers are a place where people can come and get a little additional support with their mental health. Our one on Eastern Avenue is for men, and our one on Minnesota Avenue is for women. Our facilities are for all DC residents, especially focusing in on those in Ward 7 and 8. So they're really nice, and I'm excited for consumers to actually see them. What are the services that we're going to provide? Therapy, case management, medication management, all provided by professional staff, a licensed nurse practitioner, psychiatrists, sociologists, social workers, and then our paraprofessionals, our case managers. It's just a place where you can come and get the supports that you need to work on your personal goals, as well as to get your mental health straight. Simple, single adult, 18 years of age or older, a DC resident. You need to have insurance, but if you don't have it, it's okay. Still come, we'll work on getting you insurance. Have to have a negative COVID test, a negative TB test, and be willing to work on your mental health. For more information about respite services, you can contact us at 202-796-5000 or hit us up on our website at www.prestigecommunityresources.org.
Welcome back to Badass Us. Yes, that's right. That's who we are. Badass Us Real Talk here on Vision and Purpose Media Productions. And tonight we've been talking about business or entrepreneurship, how to set your financial goals, knowing your power to purchase. And we was talking about a lot of great things. But before we go into our next segment, we see you got to be here on commercial break. That's why you got to be here. Because, we said before we go into our next segment, though, we want to kind of back up. See, that's what we can do. We can just back it on up a little bit and just talk about that key components that we need as a black people in our black household. These are the last two things we need to discuss when you're talking about being financial ready and setting them goals. And that is talking about life insurance policy
Yes.
and that will. Something we don't do. We have seen famous black people pass away. And you look, what? They didn't have a will?
Right.
What? You
How
mean
could
the
they
state?
not have a
Yes,
will?
the state is owning everything. The family in court now, they fighting back and forth. And when all this could have been taken care of, if that was a will in place. Wow.
And even if you're not a famous person and you don't have a whole lot of money, you have something. Say you're just a homeowner, you got a car, you got a small savings or checking account, or you have a small life insurance policy. Your loved ones need to know where all of this is and what they need to do to get to it, either whether it's for burial or whether it's to pay your bills off, because no matter what, you have an estate. So if you leave something behind unpaid and you do not have a will or some type of insurance that says, I will pay the mortgage off if you pass away, because you can get that. You can get the mortgage insurance that tells you that the mortgage could be paid if someone wants to pay for that. But if you have an estate and there's no will to direct, what happens is the state comes in, then you appoint an executor. But guess what? Everything in that estate gets paid off first before you get anything.
And the state going to get their portion.
They're going to get their portion.
Before you get anything.
Yes,
it don't happen time and time again. And that is so true, because I even had a friend that said, and she's an attorney, and I could not believe as an attorney that we talked about life insurance, and she was like, she didn't have none. She's like, because I don't own anything. I said, that's still no reason not to have no life insurance. You need life insurance, because see, I'm going to say that South thing. See, I'm from the South, okay? And we was taught that your life insurance policy needs to be big enough to cover your debt. So that way, when you pass on, your loved ones is not left behind worrying about, because now one, we're going to be grieving that you're gone. And then grieving on how we're going to bury you because there's no life insurance policy, or is just a whole bunch of debt there. We have seen that over and over again, how people on GoFundMe and all this because there's no life insurance policy in place. Even if you cannot afford to get a bigger policy to cover your debt, at least know what the average amount of money it costs to bury yourself. And that is so true. And then definitely have that will in place, because it takes a lot for your family to fight against the state. And
especially if you're not getting along.
Yes, if you're not getting along,
that's another part of that.
And then then it's going to be the argument who going to put up the money, because you paying during this whole process of getting retaining this this property back or whatever. So you are so right that the importance of that, we need to have these conversations, because a lot of time, guess what we say? I don't want to talk about that. Why we got to be talking about that? I don't want to hear nothing about no death. Where you going? You ain't going nowhere. Don't talk about that.
We worried about that right now, Mom. We're not worried about that right now, Mom, Dad. We not
do this sound so familiar? Why are we laughing? Because this sounds so familiar, right? I don't want to hear that. I don't want to talk about that. But my mom made sure, like you said, we knew she had a little chase in her closet. I knew that the key to it was on this little heart keychain that she kept in her bureau.
Wow.
So that's just how much in preparation she did. So when it happened, believe it, guys, when you had these conversations in your grief, you're going to feel honored that you had these conversations and that you know what to do.
Right.
You're prepared because
true.
you already had these conversations.
And absolutely, because when my mother passed, bless her heart, she was just like your mother. Never, no credit cards in her lifetime. She passed at 88. She purchased 4 houses in her lifetime. Bless her heart. And so when she was in the hospital, I said, Mom, where's your will? Where's your life insurance policy? Where are all the documents? You know what she said to me? I didn't need all that stuff. I said, Mom, yes, you did. And you knew that. We had this conversation. She said, no, I didn't. I said, what are you talking about? She said, because I got you. Everybody may not have a barber.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
So I was able to take care of everything. I was stunned because my mother was always, so with her bills and everything. So I was kind of stunned. I thought she was kidding. I thought she was kidding with me.
Right.
But when she passed, she was not kidding.
But did you have siblings?
I did.
See, that's
But
the
it's-
other part of
but-
it too.
but
why
it was
you
good.
Have to be careful about that.
Yeah, but you always going. No matter how many children in the household, it's always going to be that one
Yeah.
that you're going to rely on.
That's true, but I'm
that
talking about the
handle
part where
business.
people don't get along.
Where the people don't get along.
Right,
okay,
that's
okay.
when.
Luckily for
'cause-
me and my brother,
Yes, we all get along.
Yeah,
Right.
we were
all
fine.
just get along.
Yes.
And
yeah.
getting along mean, okay, now we got this prepared. We got our credit score. We know. No, we don't know what our credit score need to be because Barbara get ready to tell us
Yes,
where
I'm
our
getting
ready
credit.
to-
I'm ready to
Yeah,
get
Can
where-
I give a tidbit real quick
Yeah,
to the
oh,
people out there?
yes.
Because we were talking about the
Yes.
life insurance. I just want to give
Yes,
a little
yes.
tip, Barbara's tip.
Yes.
For those that think they cannot afford life insurance policy, what I would like for you to do, if you belong to a credit union, they automatically give you a few thousand. Every now and then they send you something in the mail, and for a couple of dollars a month, you can do 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 100,000. Your employer always, when you select your benefits, select 1-2 times your salary. So if you don't miss that when it's coming out regularly and it's coming out in little tidbits. But if you cannot afford a life insurance policy, look at your bank account, see if they're giving you some insurance. When you receive that mail and they're telling you they can give you life insurance for X amount of dollars, you don't miss that $10 out your checking account every month.
Right.
And check with your employer. Benefit times, most of us probably miss benefits right now, but this is benefit season. If you're still in benefit season, make sure you check how much money your employer is giving you for accidental death and life.
Yes.
So I just want people to understand
Definitely.
and know
Right.
that.
And I got to go a step further. But if you're a business owner and you're an entrepreneur, you have to look into these things. And I
Yes.
would definitely say the younger you start, the better you off you are. Because when you don't have no ailments working against you, you can get that low dollar figure
Right.
Yes.
with the
Right.
higher number
Absolutely.
of the policy. And for me, I believe in whole term versus term policy, because term policies you can outlive them. Whole policy is your whole life,
Right.
so they would pay. So that's and you need to know these things.
can
So
also cash in on
yes, and you can borrow it against it or cash in or draw out
Right.
on whole terms. You cannot on term policy on whole life. That is. So yeah. So these are things that you really do need to know. And guys, especially I'm definitely talking about this as business or entrepreneurship. If you are self-employed,
Yes.
if you are in the position that and even if you do have employed, also you still need to have your own, because if you leave that job, guess what?
You don't get that anymore. Absolutely.
That's true.
It stays
Absolutely.
there.
It's over.
So I even tell people who even working with someone, you still need to have your
You
own
should.
personal life insurance policy, because who not changing jobs these days?
Absolutely.
And then if you that's the only policy that you ever had, guess what? You starting all over again. Every time you go to a new job, you starting all over again. But if you have your own personal one, you never have to start all over again, because you always have that.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yep.
So this is this has been. I may have to have you back. We gonna get through all this tonight.
I'm definitely learning a lot.
you learned a lot.
Yes, I am.
I'm
good,
telling you,
good,
and this
good.
is so it's just worth it. So we did want to talk a little bit about moving on to leasing property, your credit score, and when it's okay to lease property versus buying property, and then what is the first step into buying property, especially when if it's commercial versus residential, because it's different. It is a different process, and you are here to tell us what's the difference and how to get started and what should you know about your power to purchase.
About your power to purchase. Okay, so let's talk commercial. Let's talk commercial. You're an entrepreneur. Maybe you want to buy your own office space as opposed to renting office space from someone else. Prior to even actually doing that, you do need to know what your worth is, what your credit score is. Not only that, it also depends on how long you've been in business and if you built up any credit underneath your business name. So when you become an entrepreneur, whether you're sole proprietor, LLC, you incorporate, your partnership, whatever you set out to do, you want to start building credit underneath your business. The way to do that is to start getting credit cards in your business name. Now, when you first start out, they look at your credit to get that credit card.
Yeah, exactly.
So you already have to have.
That's all they have to go
That's
by.
all they have to go by is your personal credit. So you are the guarantor on that business credit card or a business loan that you get. Now, once you do that, and after, unfortunately, it may take a year or two for you to establish. It's not going to be one credit card. It's not going to be just one loan. You have to establish, just like you do your credit report, you have to establish your business credit. Then at some point, you'll be able to go and get business credit just with your EIN number. Okay?
So you're building a track record.
So you're building a track record, right? And you're paying things on time. Your business credit and your personal credit, because every time you go to get business credit, they're going to look at you as the guarantor and they're going to look at your credit. So you have to maintain that to build up your business credit.
Okay, let me throw a monkey wrench in this program here. So, how about if now we're in the middle of a pandemic, and it's crazy to even think it's almost been 2 years here. We get ready to be in a new year in a minute. So, okay, so how much of this going to affect your credit, your business credit now? Because doing this, a lot of business has suffered. A lot have shut down, and the ones that are still open, we are struggling. We are struggling. So at this point, do they look at that? Is it a little grace phase that we are going through because of the pandemic, or are we now back saying, okay, the pandemic is here, you know what, you cannot keep having that to be it, and we want this to be done? So tell us about that.
Okay, what I always tell people, just like when the market crashed in 2008, the housing market.
Yes.
What I always tell people is, I said, whenever you have something in the economy that affects everyone, not just people of color, not foreigners. It affects everyone. When you have something like that, one thing that I do know for sure what the government looks at is how do we get the economy back on track?
Right.
Just like when they were giving those, I guess, stimulus checks. They wanted people to go out and buy things to help the small business, to help the economy to start moving again. Okay? So what happens is that when something like this happens, when it comes to credit, and especially for small businesses, when they start to try to get business credit again or start to try building their business up again, and I'm just talking business now, but people can use it personally too.
Right.
When they start to do that, some of the guidelines lessen.
Right.
And they change some of the guidelines just to help you. Because right now, I don't know, you see ads, you get emails, you get letters. Oh, you can get business credit. Your business can get $250,000, and we use bad credit too. I don't know what they're considering bad credit until you apply, because everybody is different. But the fact is that they want people to start getting in debt again and getting the economy rolling. So things will happen to loosen things up to help people get back on track. Once everybody starts getting back on track, then they'll start tightening it up
Right,
again.
right.
Yeah. And I like how you're breaking this down for us, and this is just really good. So now, because it is a slight turn, a twist, far as residential opposed to
Yes.
commercial. So residential.
Okay, so now we'll talk
Say-
about
right,
residential.
Yeah. So I'm leasing this house. House. I know I need to be starting to think about buying. What is my first steps? What do I need to know?
Okay, so the difference between commercial and residential. First of all, commercial credit. Don't try to do anything commercial unless your score is over 700. I'll tell you that right now. Unless it's over 700. If your scores are not over 700, don't try anything commercial unless you're getting a cosigner as well. Okay. Residential is a little bit different. There are so many different programs out here that help people to purchase a home. And credit scores are different in the personal as it is in the profession, because business credit is a lot more riskier because it's normally larger credit,
Right.
more credit. So it's a lot more riskier than residential when you're trying to purchase residential and your personal credit. So people can purchase homes. Let's just say, for instance, you're having this downturn right now and your credit scores drop and you want to purchase a new home, but you're making money. You have money saved up. You've been making money, but some things happened along the way, and then you caught up, but your credit scores are not where they used to be. In the residential market, you can go buy what you want. Okay. FHA goes down to 500. People don't know that. So if you have the money, put 10% down, 500, you can get a FHA home. You can get a home with FHA.
All right.
Okay. Do I tell people, let's go buy a home with 500 scores? No, I don't do that. Okay, because your interest rates are higher. So you want to be wise about it. But someone with a 620, 630, 640, mid sixes, you can get a home. If you have the money, you have the money saved up, you can purchase a home. And then there are programs out here that even help you purchase a home. So people really should not, if they have the discipline to make sure they pay their mortgage, they really should not have the fear of purchasing a home.
Right.
Yes, because I tell you, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic, people been buying homes like
yes.
crazy because the interest rate has just been just so sweet, so nice. So at that point, when do you bring in a lender and the agent? You know, because a lot of times, you know, we just know what we want to do.
Okay. Right now, in this day and time, it used to be a time that agents will take you out. You could just willy-nilly say, oh, I want to go look at a house, and agents will drive you all over the place. They don't do that anymore because you're using their time, their gas. So the first thing an agent will tell you, do you have a lender? If not, I can recommend you to a lender. So even if you start thinking about what you want to do, pull your own credit, look at it. You can look at it. You could see what's negative and what's not negative. And then if you think that, oh, my credit's mediocre, I think that I could probably get a home, seek out a lender and let the lender walk you through the process.
Right. And
And not all lenders are equal.
That's true too.
I had to throw that out there.
Let the record show. This is another time you got to know sometimes when to walk away.
You got to know when to walk away. There are some lenders, they just don't, they're not going to want to be bothered with you.
Right.
You don't have the scores that they're looking for. That means they got to work. They got to work to get you this home. So you seek out a lender that knows what they're doing, understand your situation, can help you and lead you toward that goal of home ownership.
Wow, this is man, this has been amazing. So now we have been talking about, you know, the power of your credit and just when do you need to bring in a lender versus agent. And I like that, especially now with it being in a pandemic. Shoot, the agents now, I like how they do it. They send you videos.
360, here you
Yeah,
go.
360. Oh, and look, my engineer team know about that 360. We've been shooting some 360s. So, guys, this has really been great. I mean, we are learning a lot of things about. We just gonna have to bring you back because we ain't even touched half of this stuff we
Yeah.
supposed to talk about
I
tonight.
want to
But
hear more about the credit.
yes, but this is a good
Yes.
thing. This is a letting you know that these are the conversation that on a commercial break you were saying these are the conversation we need to be having
Yes.
and having more of them. So guys, we're going to continue this conversation with our inspirational moment. You are hearing it here first on Badass Us. Yes, that's right. That's who we are. Badass Us Real Talk here on Vision and Purpose Media Productions.
It is key that you mind your mental health.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing this week?
Hi.
Use the 5 keys to mental movement.
Really monumental week for me. I realized that I was not being myself.
Reaching out.
Be positive attitude person self, like you guys know me to be. I was
Staying
listening to
upbeat.
teaching and get back to that happy, cheery self you guys of me.
This week's been kind of
Being
stressful,
creative.
all of the workload that we have on online learning. So I've been trying to use different platforms and different websites to help ease my mind and ease my stress.
And what about you, Marjorie?
Well, you guys know me. I just love to work with others and serve them.
Serving others.
Realize that when I serve others, my mind is off of myself.
That's right. And don't forget, self-care is key.
Self-care.
All right. So see you guys next week.
Right.
Bye.
Your mind matters.
Yes. Welcome back to Badass Us. Yes, Badass Us Real Talk here on Vision of Purpose Media Production. Guys, I tell you the commercial breaks are the best. Oh, we've been having too much fun tonight. Well, we are here. It's our time. You know what time it is. It's time for our inspirational moment. The inspiration within with Marjorie Militant. Yay. So what you got for us today, Marjorie?
We're talking about faith, which kind of goes along with the topic that she was talking about. We have to have faith that we can learn and do whatever we want to do.
Yes, yes.
So in Matthew 19:26b, which is the second part of that scripture, it says, "But with God, all things are possible." And I'm just going to read a little quote from Jimmy Carter. He
Former
said,
president, Jimmy
yes,
Carter?
the former
Okay.
president, Jimmy Carter. He's 97 years old and he's still serving, and he remains involved in political and social projects. So the quote that he has is that my faith demands that I do whatever I can, wherever I am, whenever I can, for as long as I can, with whatever I have to try to make a difference. So, that's what we've been talking about today too. That we're trying to do whatever we can as a Black community, and starting with our Black families, to do everything that we can to build up our community. What are we doing to build up our communities? And I just love what you were talking about today, our finances and being able to have things that are tangible that we own or that we are a part of, whether it's a business or a home, or Karen even spoke about land. All of those things are treasures.
Yes.
So what are
Hidden
we doing
treasures.
to build our community? We just need to buckle down, learn as much as we can about finances, about business, about anything that's going to bring us forward as a community. And then just do it.
Yes.
Just do it.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Because God doesn't want us to be broke. He doesn't want us to be poor.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
yes, and it starts here though, mentally in your mind. We as rich as we want to be, and that's what it is. It's your faith. What is your faith like? And I love the other one is Philippians 4:13. We can do all things through
Right.
God who strengthens
Strengthens us. That's right.
and that's a part of the faith here, that when you are in your purpose, you got to know and believe and have that faith. Faith will give you what? Faith give you hope. Faith
Right.
give you what? Belief. And you got to know that, because it's going to be challenged.
Yes.
At times it will be challenged, but when this is your purpose and this is what it is that you would do, things will align even in the midst of the challenge, to tell you that you're on the right path. You're taking the right step. We're taking the right steps by knowing Barbara and knowing that we need to have that power to package.
Some powerful information.
Yes. Because, the first thing that she said was what? Education. Education is key. Education is power. The more that you educate yourself on whatever it is that you want to do and be and just go after, then the better equipped you are.
Absolutely.
Right.
To making sure that it end up on a successful side. And successful side sometimes don't mean that it's going to bring you great money. It's just going to bring you great joy that you understand the process of what it took to get there. Sometimes that you can't put a price on it.
And as we go through this life, what happens is that each generation learns more, knows more, and we want to encourage that. So if there are things that I didn't know when I was growing up, I want my children to know those things and to improve upon those things, whether it has to do with saving money or buying a home, whatever it is. I just want them to be better and want their children to be better.
Absolutely.
And I think that's true. Each generation, we talked about this a little bit, you want the next generation to always go further than what we did. And, and I just know that's our whole process and our thought process that we have in the Black community. We always want our children and the children after that and grandkids. That's why we spoil our grandkids so much. I don't know. But anyway,
because we send them home.
Did I just get off track?
You send them back.
Yes. So and guys, and that's what it really is. It's gonna be time we're gonna get challenged. Oh my gosh, and I must admit, and I just want to put it out there. I just had a challenging moment tonight. Right before getting here. So I think that's why I was a little off balance a little bit because, when you just had something that didn't sit well in your spirit and your soul, and I just had to stop and just call and pray.
Yes.
Because I tell you, prayer just get me back on the place where I need to be, keep me back on the focus of his faith and not mine. Because the conversation was starting to be all about us.
Right.
And we didn't let him stay in the midst.
Yes, absolutely.
And I had to, because at some point somebody got to realize that and be the person to say, hey, you know what?
Right.
I'm stopping. I'm praying. I love you. We can't go this route. We can't go down this path.
And
I'm not.
Right. We do have to do that.
And I just, had to pray for forgiveness and just know, once I recognize it, just ask for that forgiveness and focus me back, center my spirit.
Right.
And that's,
sometimes I just say, Jesus.
Yes. Short prayers.
Put it out there.
That power in
put
the
it
room,
out there in the atmosphere.
That brings that power in the room.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I was just telling my girlfriend, she lost her husband, and I was texting her, and I believe in that. I was like, because all four of us, my husband, her husband, we was really close at a certain time in our life, and she was so there for me when my husband passed, so I wanted to give it back, and I just told her, because I know when something like that happened, you get so many phone calls, so many text messages. I just would send her a little text and say, no need to reply. But one thing I wanted her to know, just take a deep breath. Just breathe.
Right.
Throughout the course of the day, be mindful that you are taking deep breaths and breathe. And say them short prayers in that deep breath. And all it got to be, God, I believe you and receive you.
Yes.
Like you said, Jesus.
Right.
Just calling out the name. It does something. It does something to the
Changes
spirit.
the atmosphere.
And I believe that, even as we learn more about things that we can do, like we learn how to save money, we learn how we can buy a house, we learn how to start a business, all those things are great and they're purposeful. But we also are created by God to serve a purpose too. And we can never take our eyes off what the purpose is. We can never do that. Right.
I like that, Barbara.
I like that too.
Yes.
I like that too. One thing I always say, whatever we are given, whether it's finances or whatever we're given, it's not given for us.
Right.
It's given so that we can give to somebody else.
Right.
And so I try to teach, and when I'm teaching, I tell people, don't be fearful of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people are quick to say money is the root of all evil. Don't be fearful of money. It's what you do with the money that can be the root of all evil. But if you're doing the right thing,
Right.
if you're giving, you're helping, you're sowing, you're planting seeds,
Right.
you're building a community like Miss Karen here, and you're giving back.
Right.
Y'all ain't gonna make me cry. Y'all know I'm the big crybaby. Cause see, and we was talking about this last week, how God give you confirmation.
Right.
Now I didn't tell you what this thing was,
Right.
and this thing was money.
Right.
And I was just like, I cannot let this be. The devil is not working overtime over here because we know the root. You know, as they say,
Absolutely.
money is the the
Yes.
root to all evils. And I just prayed that and said that, and I said, not here, not
It's
so.
not.
And
It's
like you
not.
say, is I love what you just said about that. It's not really the money. It's just how we perceive it and how we let it control.
Right.
us.
And money is purposeful. You know, if you
It
make
is.
all the money in the world, that's great. No one is saying to you, give your money away to people
Right.
who don't have. People are saying, or God is saying to you, do what you need to do with it. If people
Yes.
need to eat,
Yes.
feed them. If people need to learn the things that you're teaching, you know, some people don't have access to learning about their finances or about how to buy a house. So if that's a gift that God has given you,
Thank you.
then you share it.
I used to go to churches and do
Right.
seminars
Yes.
on
Yes.
this just
Yeah.
to
Exactly.
try to help our
Yes.
community understand so,
Right.
you know, they
Because
could do
there's
the
so
things
much
they
we
need to
don't
do.
understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and with that being said, you know, this is the holiday season. I want to just definitely thank Community is Priority Group. I just thank you all just for being a part of it. We drive hard every year this time of year during Thanksgiving and Christmas to do our food drive, our toy drive. So we have our toy drive. I have to take this time to mention the toy drive that's coming up this Friday on the 17th. Hopefully, maybe we can just, if you can reach out to us, personal, my number, 202-904-1000. If you have a child that's in need, that need toys, and we give to Concerned, the foster care, Concerned for Kids.
Wonderful.
It's we've been partnered with them for the last 7 years, and these are the children that we like to give our toys to. Our drop off. If you like to make a donation of toys, no guns, please. I know every time we ask for boy gifts, we get a lot of guns, and I'm going to tell you, we don't give them out.
right.
So please get mindful toys. If you
Yes.
want to come and donate to our toy drive, that would be on the 17th, this Friday, the 17th, between 12 and 3 at Camp Spring Baptist Church, right, Crystal? Yeah, she making sure I get that information out there. And so, and this is where we'll be. And then Tuesday, if you're in need of a hot meal, call us, because we are doing it here at our building, hot meal drive on that Tuesday
Wonderful.
following, and that'll be from 4 to 6. And you can reach me again at 202-904-1000. Again, 202-904-1000. And Barbara, before we end, you are our special guest, but you also are family.
Yes,
you
I
are part of the
am.
Vision and Purpose
Yes,
Media
I am.
Production. So
Yes, I
can you
am.
give your information if someone want to just even get in further contact with you to talk more? Because she is a lender, mortgage
Yes.
financing. So, and tell us about your show that
Oh,
comes
okay.
on Saturday.
Wonderful. Like she said, I am a mortgage consultant, and I also do financial consultant. Every second and fourth Saturday, 1 o'clock, we have our show, Mortgage Financing and Home Buyer Ready. You could tune in. I'm there with a wonderful lender, and we just talk all about how you could purchase a home. And if you would like to reach me, my email address is barbaragrant@cardinalfinancial.com.
Yes, I tell you. And this has been wonderful, Marjorie. You know, the team will be back with us next week.
right.
And of course, we have a great topic. And next week is all about the community. Community speaks. Yes. And so, If you think tonight was heavy, we're going to get real heavy on you next week. So, yeah, you got to stay tuned if you want to know. But here on B.A.A.D.A.S.S Us, that's where we are. We are personal, up close and personal and intentional with our community. So, you heard it here first on B.A.A.D.A.S.S Us. Yes, B.A.A.D.A.S.S Us, Real Talk, here on Vision and Purpose Media Productions. And, guys, we just want to say have a blessed week. Please come out to our toy drive. Again, that is Friday from 12 to 3 at Camp Spring Baptist Church in Camp Spring, Maryland. This is Prince George's County. If you can come out, or you can just call me, if you want to if you live out of town, you just want to do a donation, Cash App donation, you can call me again, 202-904-1000. We appreciate you, and we will see you on the other side. Have a blessed week.